Under Plum Lake by Lionel Davidson, 16, the switched-on mountain. He did 2 runs very carefully without trying anything. He pointed out every detail to me. It's power tobogganing. The power comes from the mountain. The toboggan just has the controls. You sit one behind the other, tightly strapped in. You toboggan up the mountain as well as down it. There's an up track and a down track. You go up quite slowly. The toboggan grips the track like a magnet. Coming down, it still grips it tightly. But you're going faster. If you switch off, you're going much faster. That's the trick. You go as fast as you dare before switching on again. They have the same procedure, a starter on top and a judge below. But this way, it's pure speed. You get from top to bottom as fast as you can in any way you can. He didn't tell me the various ways you could do it. He just did the first 2 runs nice and steadily. He showed me how you worked the toboggan. The front person worked the controls. The back person helped steer, leaning out sideways or backwards when the toboggan rounded a bend or leaped a hump. He gave me good warning when I had to do it. He'd yell, "Right!" or "Left!" And I'd lean out right or left, and we'd swish round the bend without the rear end wobbling. Or if a hump was coming, he'd yell, "Back!" And I'd lean out backwards, and we'd sail over the land flat without the nose scooping. The toboggan is heavier at the front because of the controls. At the sharpest bends, there was a red sign to give advanced warning. But at some of them I saw a yellow sign with an arrow pointing outwards from the mountain, and I asked why. He pointed over the side. "Lower track," he said. "You can take a shortcut." Below, I could see the track zigzagging down the mountain. Second time round, he showed me the shortcut, turning sideways on the yellow arrow. You could leave the track, grip tightly to the mountain with power on, and descend to join the next stretch of track below. You could save seconds that way. He told me when we were going to do it. He yelled, "Back!" And I stretched back as far as I could, and we took a slow dive vertically down the mountain. My head swam. I was standing upright. We were stuck like flies to the side of the mountain. I felt my eyes glazing, my body rigid. Yet the moment we hit the lower track and he switched power off, we were whizzing away again. It felt like colossal fun. We did it 4 or 5 times, and by the end I was yelling, "Whee!" and laughing gleefully as he did, and laughing as gleefully as he did. His eyes were shining behind his goggles as we went up for the 3rd run, and he said something to the starter. "We'll do a timing now," he told me. I'd forgotten about the timing. He hadn't asked for a timing before. He started off fast right away, and he didn't even bother putting power on. At the first wide bend, he just yelled, "Right!" and I swung out, and we lurched around the bend at speed. I felt my heart beginning to thud. I could see the red sign ahead for a hairpin bend. It came rushing up in a sickening blur, and he still didn't put power on. He began yelling, "Left! Left!" without slackening speed for an instant. I saw without believing it that he didn't mean to put power on at all. We were going racing into a hairpin bend. He was leaning out to left himself. I leaned out as far as I could. I leaned so far my head brushed the snow on the banking. As we switched in a jackknife curve round it and leveled out into a wild, dangerous wobble, racing from side to side of an icy track as we hurtled down it, not losing speed for an instant. I could hear him cackling in front. I could see another red sign coming up with a yellow one. "Dido!" I yelled. "Slow down!" He couldn't hear me. The wind snatched my words back. I could hear him, though. He was yelling, "Back!" Back. He meant left. I had to bend left again. Another tight hairpin was coming. It was almost here. "Back!" he yelled. "Back!" and started straining back himself. So I did too. He didn't turn into the bend. He followed the yellow arrow and went full speed off the mountain. I thought my heart had stopped. We were in the air, off the mountain. Just as we lost contact, he snapped power on. I felt the magnet clamp tight. We fell and hit the lower track hard, and the instant we did so, he let power off, and we were still going at terrific speed. I couldn't bear it. I wanted to get out. I wanted to get off. He was cackling like a lunatic in front. I followed blindly whenever he said, "Left, right, back!" We skated madly round the bankings. We flew through the air over humps. We came to another arrow. "Back!" Again, we flew off the mountain. I wanted to close my eyes, but daren't. I was straining back, waiting for the thud of power to come on. It came on, and I clenched my toes, waiting for the thump. There was no thump. Almost immediately, he let power off again. The lower track sailed past us, and we were still dropping. He let one track, two tracks flash past before bringing on power when we landed on the third. He switched power off just as we landed. But we did it with such a thud. We leaped clear in the air, a good 5 feet, still scudding down at breakneck pace. I'd practically given up now. I wasn't even sure when it ended. We were stopped. People were jumping and yelling. The judge was checking figures. He was checking them again. I hadn't even got out of the toboggan. I was still strapped in. Well, not bad, Dido said. He shoved his goggles up and was grinning. Second best time for 80 years. What do you say to that? I didn't say anything. Barry, he said. He seemed to be looking at me closely. Then I was in a hut and he was giving me Tigra. Are you all right? He said. I couldn't speak. Barry. I sipped the Tigra. I felt better every second. Didn't you like it? He said. I hated it, I said. Don't do it again. Never do anything like that with me again. He just blinked at me. Have a nap, he said. It's time for one now. I asked him about it later. I asked about the danger. I asked if it wasn't possible to be killed in Egon. He said, of course you could be killed. If you smashed yourself badly, you were killed. So he knew what could happen. And that's the end of part 16.